Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody doing? Am I coming in 5x5? All right. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Why is my chat not refreshing? What is going on here? Something is amuck. Oh, no. That is no bueno. Let me... Oh, I see what's going on. I know what the problem is. Morning, Aragon. Yeah, getting dressed in the hotel room at Genghis Khan, I see. Hold on a second hold on a second. You guys don't need to hold on. I have to see if I can get my lower third stuff to work. For some reason, it's not working. So bear with me for just a moment. Let's see. I wonder if this will work, but I don't know. We'll see. Be a big part of the show missing. That would be no bueno, and everything was working fine until I closed my browser, which is great. Let me see. Yep, that's not working. Great. I can't call people out. That's awesome. This plugin is... Oh, I see what... Maybe the problem... Come on. Hold on a second, folks. There. Maybe that'll work. There we go. I think everything's fine now. Anyways, let's see. Ryan West, of course, it's the first one here. Good to see ya. Shambot, good to see ya. Let's see. Jason96, nothing. You're right on time, sir. Hoos, morning. Blake, William, Ryan Harrigan, Jake, morning. Wayne. There, I think whoops. Victor, morning. I think I'm caught up. Everything's working now. Gabe, morning. You know what? I think I did one. I forgot. What is going on here? You ever get that time when your mouse, you're clicking the key and it's like selecting the wrong thing? Whatever. I forgot one thing. Bear with me. All right. I think I'm good. I just saw on one of the websites I got for something today, the Fantastic Four trailer. Did you guys watch it yet? I didn't think it was going to be the 1960s, set in the 60s. Did you guys view it yet? Thoughts? Cheers. For those of you that will show up after the live stream or are here today that haven't tuned in before, I'm Sean. I like RPGs. So do the people in the chat. I get on here every 8 a.m. Central Time Saturday mornings, talk about tabletop role-playing games, usually starting off with like a question of the day, which has turned into more of a discussion of the day or this stream. And then I go into a little bit of the print and crowdfunding and things that are going on in the last week. So thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Yeah, the decor is something else. Like, right, mid-century. My wife loves that stuff, that look. Wayne says, I love the 60s vibe. I have thoughts. I think they are the most comics accurate. Oh, interesting. Tyler, good to see you. Morning. All right. It's still cold where I am, so I have to wear this thing. I think my baseboard heating is not working like it used to be. It used to get really hot down here. Well, so much for that. Anyways, let's get into the topic as people trickle in. Flint, morning. Well, we could probably give it a couple more minutes. We'll start off with a warm up. What's everybody playing right now? Playing or running? Quick one. What are you playing or running? Need an update. Playing or running? I am playing and not running anything. Today is Castles and Crusades Day. I'll be playing that this afternoon with the Jeff group. And then I think Outcasts over Raiders starts this week, session 0, I think. Harrigan in the chat could confirm as he is running that game. Playing in Coriolis, started that this week. Regular Coriolis, Third Horizon. The Dark, that one beta just came out that I haven't taken a look at. The alpha's been out, but I don't know. I don't see much point in like reading the alpha if it's just going to change. The beta might too, but probably not as much. All right, so we got Tyler. Whoa, hold on a second. Now I guess where am I? Tyler says running Heart of Darkness for Alien. I heard that's good. I haven't run Alien yet. Blake Vason, set in Bavaria, 1836. Love that part of the country. Spent some time there myself, just not in the 1800s. Mike, playing in Shadowrun 3rd edition game. Very cool. Mike, are you a Shadowrun guy? Like, I have my buddy Jimmy, who's a big Shadowrun guy. Like, has all the editions. He has opinions of all of them. He may switch it up every once in a while, but sometimes I talk to folks that are like, a 3rd edition is the best edition. Ryan running DCC and playing D&D 5th ed. Stefan, morning. Good to see you. Ryan West, Shadowrun 3rd edition, complimented on that. Gabe, against the Dark Master and Conan 2D20 in the Thurian Age. Soon to be a player in Outgunned. Nice. Are you going to be revising your character as the van driving beer drinker? Setting the good example. Playing DD4E. Whoa. Not running anything at the moment. Shambot still running Dragonbane. Playing We Deal in Lead. Playing We Deal in Lead on Sunday. Hoos. Playing Star Trek 2D20. What? Coriolis and Hearn prepping War Stories to run locally. Oh, dude. You hit me. That's the War Stories, man. Yeah. I was going to run that at Gamehole Con one year, but I decided not to. I like that one. That would be an interesting one. I have opinions about War Stories. I'll just share them. Good game. I don't know. I've always been like, okay, Twilight 2000 has a theme behind it. It doesn't have to be a military. It's a very survival-based game. Military games is an interesting one. I don't know, because you and I have served, so it's like, how do people that haven't served embrace being a soldier if you have veterans at the table, like literal veterans? And I think with War Stories, and you and I both know this, having, if you serve, it's the camaraderie and the banter and the busting of chops and a lot of things that go into it other than just getting into a city and the objective. And I think that's where it's going to shine if you can get people to embrace that. That's just my take. Anyways, Jeff says playing Fabula Ultima, running Mask, preparing a Fate core game for next month. Everybody's got like multiple irons in the fire. Flint running the One Ring next week, playing in Shadowdark campaign wrapping up in 2 weeks. Just ran it last night. So Harrigan's running Outcast Silver Raiders, but he hasn't run for us yet. Wayne, just saying. Harrigan's like, I ran it for a bunch of strangers last night. It was great. Laramie CNC game from last year continues. The big campaign. John, good to see you. Morning. Welcome. Playing Ironsworn Starforged. Oh, very cool. Haven't delved into it. Harrigan confirms we're starting with the Thursday crew as well. All right, fantastic. John continues, and Cyberpunk Red. Nice. Wayne says just ran a game of Shadowdark fun, playing The Walking Dead, possibly OSE. Question mark. He means OSR. Beyond the Wall, playtesting Project Psyche. There you go. Jeff Lockett also prepping Green Oaks one-shot. Are you serious? I say that because I just posted that RPG on Discord this morning, Jeff. It came across my radar because I got a newsletter from Noble Knight, and that was one of the RPGs that came in, or was on it. And then I'm like, what? And I was like, I don't know how much I feel about this. So Green Oaks, for everybody that's not in the know, looks like a brochure to a nursing home. And it's a RPG where you play elderly people. I was going to say old people. Elderly people are old people, whatever. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And then I'm like, well, we got kids on bikes and Tales from the Loop, so we play kids, so why can't we play adults? Oh, and then there's Brindlewood Bay, and you play like the Golden Girls Unraveling the Mystery. And I'm like, yeah, I would consider Green. I don't know much about the mechanics for Green Oaks. I would consider that for like a con game one shot like Jeff is. Dude, I would points for people that bring like mega hats and all kinds of craziness that comes with. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I should maybe say that, but I don't know. Whatever. Not a Shadowrun guide, just the rule set the GM decided to use. Got it. Okay. Today, Outgun Swayed, Battletech Swayed, Sidewinder recoiled. Harrigan's at Genghis Khan. That's why him and Mirko. Jason 96 D&D 5.24. Looking into DC 20 as it gets developed. Stefan, I'm running Taldore game using Tales of the Valiant. Blake, thanks for prompting. Yeah, I don't know if we're at maximum capacity yet, but cheers if you're liking what you're hearing. Even if you're not liking what you're hearing, maybe you like the people in the chat. Or to prevent me to turn on ads, do this. Like, hey, thumbs up for no ads, right? Anticipating the Warhammer Old World D10 dice pool game, Daryl says. Good to see you, Daryl. William Thorpe, still running D&D for my kids. Solid. Bubba Hotep. I didn't know Bubba Hotep, but it does say that's the reference. It's our influence. Orcus Dorcas. All right. Well, late as usual, I see. Rescue a busload of nuns. Oh, yeah. We all know that's not true. Phil McClory playing Hyperborea, not to be mistaken for astonishing sorcerers of Hyperborea. It's just Hyperborea. And Ruins of Symbaroum, maybe Outcast Silver Raiders. I think that's been confirmed we are, just so you know. Won't confirm until dice are rolled. Running Dragonbane and the One Ring. Tad, good to see you. Morning. Stefan, I've adopted an old red box D&D adventure called Rahasha for my game, and the players are about to begin it. I've always loved that adventure, but never was able to run it. Well, there's no better time than the present. What I miss? Just me bashing you. Me? Oh, I mentioned it, no? Technical problems? Oh, no. Are you getting technical problems? I did change a couple things in OBS to hoping that it would smooth out. Nice, Phil, everyone. We have a free slot on Thursdays suddenly. Scott's played in like 40 games last I saw and heard. Yeah, probably. I think I mentioned I saw playing probably no Outcast Silver Raiders this week with Harrigan in the group and Phil and Wayne and Kev. And then, like I said, Castles and Crusades today. So I'm not running anything. I'm not running Jack. And then Coriolis just started. Stream's good for me. Thanks, Tyler, for confirming. All right, let's get in. Now that everybody's kind of settled in, let's get into the discussion of the day. I want to talk about meta currencies. Yeah, because it always tends to get a little bit of little buzz on our Discord, if you will. And if you're not there, feel free to join. It's free. It's free to join. I mean, you got to have an internet connection and an account, but, So meta currencies, right? Some of us know them as like bennies, fate points, story points, destiny points, momentum, threat, all of the things, right? So some people have said experience points, which I want to comment on as well. So that they kind of refer to meta currency kind of defined as in-game resources that players can spend to influence the game beyond the normal rules of character abilities and dice rolls. These currencies are usually earned through role-playing, taking risks, or engaging with the game's themes, and can be spent to re-roll dice, modify outcomes, introduce narrative elements, or take special actions. Like, that's a pretty good definition of meta currencies. Can we agree on that? Can we agree? Hey. It's a pretty good definition of meta currencies, I will say. So first of all, what is your initial thoughts on meta currencies? I'm interested to know. I want to get a temp check in the room of what people think of meta currencies. Do you like them? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Right? It doesn't matter, whatever. It's part of the game. It depends. Okay, if you use depends, you get 5 experience points if you use depends. But it has to be a sincere it depends. Meta currencies. That the same as midichlorians? No, Blake Ryan, that is not the same. Would you, the rest of the chat, would you like to play or pass? Nick J. What up, Nick J? Non is better than the currency of love. Whoa, come on now. Oh, my chat's going bonkers. I got to slow her down, man. Bopping all over. Best connection stream I've had in a while. Good, then I've hit the right button on my OBS. Solid definition, Laramie says. Meta currencies are like any mechanic, depends on the game. Fate points have a narrative cause. They do indeed. And I get XP. Nice work. High five. There you go, Laramie. Yeah. I like them, Blake says. But they should aid a scene situation, not dominate the whole game. They don't dominate games, do they? It totally depends. Mark your bingo card, Hoos, on the game and what the purpose of them is in the game. Okay, all right. I got to follow up to that, but keep her coming, keep her moving, as we say in the Midwest, or specifically Wisconsin, Minnesota. I don't know. Minnesota, you say keep her moving? I've never had an issue with them. I personally haven't seen it go badly because the GM still usually has the final say. Okay, you're jumping ahead, Tyler. Tyler's an overachiever. Aaron, I like meta currencies that directly reinforce the game's theme or genre. Otherwise, it feels tacked on. Agreed. So now I'm starting to get into the opinions. Love them in the right game. Hate them in the wrong game. Harrigan's Hearth. I want an article on meta currencies. Tell me about them. Tell that right there. That should be the title of the that'll be the tag not the tagline. The what the hell is it called? Shit. There's the title of the article, and then there is the whatever underneath. I can't remember. I'm an idiot. Meta currency earned from good role play annoy me as this becomes a game of guess what entertains or the GM thinks is good role play. Yeah, see, now we're starting to get into them. Yeah, baby. Thanks, Mike. I don't love them being an overriding mechanic, but I'm here for them in a small nudge, like Benny's and Savage Worlds or Luck and DCC. Yeah. So first of all, some games that have them, right? Savage Worlds, Benny's. The Star Wars FFG games have Force and Destiny. Conan 2D20 has Threat and Momentum, right? No. Is that right, Gabe? Do I have that wrong? Threat and Momentum is Star Trek for sure. Doom and Conan, and I can't remember what the other one was for 2D20. Then you've got Fate Points. You've got Cortex has some, I think, right? D&D, right? That has Inspiration. Blades in the Dark has Stress. Momentum and Doom for Conan, yeah. Call of Cthulhu has Luck Points. So does DCC. Mutants and Masterminds have Hero Points. Pathfinder has Hero Points. Old Eberron and 3.5 had Action Points as well. One Ring has Hope and Shadow. That's 2nd edition. Warhammer Roll Fantasy has Fortune and Fate Points. Legend of the Five Rings has Void Points. Cypher has XP as meta currency, right? So just to touch on XP quick, XP is would probably, by the definition outlined earlier, XP would only be a meta currency if you could use XP in the moment to change things in the game. It's not, well, experience points, you do things in the game, and then the GM awards you with these experience points, and then you can use those experience points to level your character. That would be the argument, right? You're playing the game. Your character does things. Your GM awards you XP. You get to use that as a currency to up your tune, your level your tune or tweak your tune. I wouldn't see it that way. I would see but in Monty Cook's stuff, you could use it in the moment and spend the XP right there in the encounter. So XP is meta currency there. 7C has Hero Points. Iron Sworn has Momentum. Gumshoe, Investigative and General Pools. Like that whole game is almost based on a meta currency to some degree, or to a large degree. Cortex has Plot Points. Deadlands, Fate Chips. Dungeon World, Hold, which I would not have kind of guessed. Specific moves that grant you a hold and then spending it at the right moment. Paranoia has Paranoia Points. Go figure. So Laramie says, Mike, yeah, nailed it. If I want to play apples to apples, I'll play apples to apples. Or am I really self-loathing? Cards Against Humanity, right? All right, here we go, Gabe. If the meta currencies are there to help PC survive, then I think it's better to address the overall structure of the rules. If the meta is there for a player to powerfully deal with the narrative, okay. There you go. Meta currency earned from good roleplay annoy me at this as this becomes a game of guess that. Did I just read that? I did read that, didn't I, Mike? Yeah. Okay. Laramie's wondering how Gabe feels about Benny's, say Benny's or DCC Luck. Orcus Dorcas says, I like them, even though it's a player's version of fudging. What I feel, one of the things that kind of gets me with meta currency is that, like, what's the point of it? What's the purpose? Like, yes, we've defined it, but what's the purpose in this game? Is it to allow the players to, well, if my players suck at rolling dice, it does help where I can add additional rolls, which increases the chances of me rolling better. And if I roll better, I will have more success. If I have more success, it will be more enjoyable. Blah, 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 right? Kind of like starting at root cause and going up to whatever the end result is beneficial or preferential to the, or preferred by the player, whatever. Or does it like enforce, like in Star Wars Fantasy Flight Games, I appreciate light side, dark side points because they flop, right? It's not, I artificially give you a point here, right? Like some people are alluding to, he's a great role player. She's a great role player. I bestow upon you this token of gratitude for your great role playing. But with Star Wars Fantasy Flight Games' version, it's based on the amount of players you have. And then you have the pool. And they roll. Well, it's not based on the characters. They all roll, and then based on the results of those rolls, they get how many points in the pool. And then so many are black and or dark, and so many are light to begin with. And then as the story unfolds, you're flipping them. And then so the I guess momentum of the game goes right to the player's advantage. One kind of in one aspect or another, and then it floats back to the game master, right? Which is, in my humble opinion, a pretty good method of like the Star Wars world. And some could say, well, it's not just Star Wars, Sean. It could be any story. Yes, you're right, for sure. But it's a good mechanic to facilitate that. Otherwise, you might get a game master that just is always bringing the hurt. My struggle is that I think sometimes meta currencies are brought in and used because the game, to me, it's like, shit. If you get into a traditional RPG and the game master has stuff, right? And they're going to, in a trad game, going to present that material and those problems to the player characters. And the player characters are going to overcome those problems and challenges. And again, I've said this before, I think some game design over the years has tried to level that playing field, right? Well, the GM used to just arbitrarily pull things out of their butt, and we had really bad game masters that would just bring down the hammer because they felt like the players were having too good a time or it was too easy, so damn them to hell, I'm going to just bring crap out to really squash them and put them in check. But so what they did was say, no, you can't really do that, Game Master, because there are rules now. There's rules that cover that. You can do these things, and then we can counter those with these things. And so the rule books have gone through the roof, and there's all kinds of things, especially if you get into tactical, heavy role-playing games, okay? My opinion, kind of what I've observed. And then to take it further, it's like, why don't we give the players more to counteract some of that stuff? Or it's a meta currency that can go back or forth, like momentum and doom or threat. And the game master can take it. And instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to pull this stuff out of my butt because I want to make it more challenging because, you know, I'm like that. Now they can say, well, I'm doing it because I have this thing, this token that allows me to put the monster in there, even though you could do it without that thing. Does that make sense? That's where my beef comes in with some of these. The byline. Thanks, Tyler. Boy, I'm for the chat. I'm trying to catch up now. I really like Glass Cannon's bottle cap system. They come into play just often enough for me. Okay. I don't mind meta currency. Sometimes I don't want them in every game. I don't want them to ruin the tone in a game where tension and suspense are key to how players react to the situations. Like, we haven't even talked about hoarding them. Like, what about those that have like, oh, I got to hoard these, and then they never spend them, and then they wait, and then it gets to the big bad boss fight, and they just blow them like a kid in a candy store that's got like $10. I don't mind Then we have luck points used for one reroll in Shadowdark. Our games might be much shorter without them. Warhammer Fantasy as Fate. William Thorpe, D&D Inspiration, indeed. Currencies is a whole different... GM meta currencies is a whole different topic. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Luck points and Monster of the Week. Spellburn is possibly my favorite as far as the results you get from using them. Cortex plot points, Marvel. Okay, so now I'm going to... Whoa. And then I hit unpause and everything goes poof. Fate as Fate. Yep. Barbarians Lemurio as Hero. Like a lot of, it's strong design decisions, right? D&D has different currencies for different classes too, like the monk and key points. Good call out, Victor. Thank you. Do you consider 2d20's momentum and threat meta currency? 100%. Which is, yes. Because you're playing it at this level. Like, you're like, okay, well, I have this thing, so I'm going to spend it, and I'm going to get to be able to do something else. And then that awards the Game Master Doom or what have you. Is pushing a roll in Dragon Maid Vaesen considered meta currency? Can only do it so much. I don't see push as that. One could probably make an argument for it to be a meta currency. I wouldn't classify it as one. Because it's like inherent to the game. Like a push is, it's not, you don't have any push points, right? You can opt to make another attempt. It's like all the Free League D6 based games. And some, yeah. It's just, I don't know. Somebody could make the argument contrary to that, Blake. Cypher system uses XP to both level and to affect the game, right? Not a fan of them in general. Seem to be gamey. Seem too gamey. Nick says, if I have to use them, super sort of game seems best. I think there needs to be an inherent logic to the mechanic, to the game genre world. Roger, good to see you. Welcome. Green Oaks has rumors and bother. Oh, interesting. Did not realize that. I don't know much about the game. Thanks, Jeff. My in-person game has baked goods and craft beer as meta currencies. Oh, wait, those are bribes. I guess that counts. Orcus, Dorcas. I really need to filter the stream. What are you doing here? Wayne, I like them when they add a new dimension or reinforce a genre. Grow suspicious when they seem to paper over mechanics or become too intrinsic to the mechanics. Many things are up. Most I'm not crazy thrilled by. There's a game, might be just a mechanic where you can give up hit points to add to, let's say, add to a constitution roll versus a spell, etc. So Flint, Outcast Silver Raiders, as a sorcerer, you make yourself bleed, and it takes hit points away from you. So you determine, it's called the potency. So when you injure yourself, inflict self-harm onto your character, you determine how many hit points, which is the potency of the dark magic. So meta currency, I don't know. I like them. They give the player a sense of agency in the story. Well, that's a good point too. That's good if you're okay with that. But some people are like, that's not, or Brett, if you guys haven't listened to Gaming and BS, those two jokers over there on that podcast, Brett would say something to the effect like, he wasn't a big fan of Benny's because he would say, well, I have this encounter and I have it, kind of structured or whatever, and then I do it, and then okay, somebody's just gonna spend all these bennies and like he would, and I say this like I don't know if he would accurately convey, like, that's not how you use bennies, right? If he said, well, if a player can just spend this shit and change the story, how does that affect like how the game master presents that stuff, right? Which goes into a whole nother topic of, well, is it the game master trying to run a game or are they trying to tell a story? because the latter is probably not the best way to game master. Fleeting luck from DCC Lankmar. Amazing, Harrigan says. I added the exclamation point on that, just an FYI. Hoos. For me, they need to reinforce the fiction theme of the game, not mitigate, change the rules for players' sakes. Yeah, that is a line, right? Some of us are like, to the point with Jeff was saying, it's like, oh, I don't know Cortex very well, so I can't intelligently comment on like story or plot. Plot points is a big one, right? I can't remember what game uses a lot of plot points. I think like, wasn't it earlier Cortex? And maybe even newer Cortex. And I say earlier Cortex like a Marvel Cortex. Like you could use plot points. Like I'm going to spend a plot point because now I get to change like the story. And then how much of the story do you get to change? Well, the game master has the final word on that. Oh, okay. Well, I do not like XP as meta currency. That Cypher does. Creates a strange cognitive dissonance with me. XP is a timing mechanism and play reward currency, in my humble opinion. It may just be me. Yeah, it's a weird dichotomy, right? Like XP, I get to use this to like bump up my guy, but in order to survive, I got to spend it. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do. Hit it on the head. What's the goal? Seems like a ham-fisted, arbitrary mechanic to enable PCs overcome odds artificially. They seem to generally break immersions and make sessions feel too gamey, says Nick. Stefan says, I love Destiny points in FFG Star Wars and by extension, the story points in Genesis. Same system, right? That gives players a bit more control and agency. I think Gabe and I are on the same frequency, says Wayne. I think bennies dominate the game mechanics, in my humble opinion. So it's like, I'm getting some, it's cool if it doesn't like change everything. Like, so like re-rolls maybe okay, but not like, oh, this didn't happen. Story point. Rewind. Too heavy, too hard, right? Tales of the Valiant has luck instead of 5e inspiration, and I've expanded how to use them. Well, and the cool thing about some luck, like luck points, specifically to DCC, is it resides, well, everybody gets luck points, but they're used differently, where if you are the halfling, right, you can regenerate it where the rest of the player characters can't, which I think is kind of interesting, right? Because it's to that, like I would even say the halflings get luck and nobody else. That's not a DCC thing, but I could see the app being like, well, that's why I play. And I'm sure there's fantasy games that like the Hobbit, the halfling, the little guys are always lucky because they're ducking and dodging out of things when they don't have the beefy muscle that a typical fighter does, right? So it's kind of grabbing their sneakiness, kind of, I guess. It also depends on the context. Bennies at a con in a high-action Suede game are great. Don't want to play a campaign with them. Or, I would argue, Harrigan, would you allow them in a game that is like huge pulp, huge action, Journey to the Center of the Earth, pulp, like Indiana Jones, Star Flash Fighter, amazing stories, everything is high action, pour on the bennies. I agree. DCC Fleeting Luck captures the feel of frenetic action game. Super fun. In our Shadowdark game, you only get one luck point, so no hoarding, which makes that luck point super important. Got it. Starforged, I feel like these meta currencies are baked into the game, the main mechanic. I should read that. I know it's gotten really good rave reviews. I have Starforged. I just haven't read it. Orcus Dorcas, sure, but with Banes and other versions of it in Modifius games where the GM has unlimited hoarding, an ill-tempered GM can really slam it to the players, making for some justification arguments. Okay, all right. So you can use Fleeting Luck to heal DCC. Do healing potions count as meta currencies? No, I wouldn't say. Because see, what happens with, like, this is a... If we start looking at, well, if we look at the experience points, not in the Cypher system, but just XP in general, traditional games, where you're using it to level your person, and you say, well, that's a meta currency, then you could, well, a potion is a meta currency, a scroll is a meta currency, and it's like, nah, and then we're starting to get into like a weird, like maybe a gray area where I wouldn't think it is. Like it doesn't go back and forth. Like it's an item in the game, so it's not at a meta level, kind of, right? The effects are, but that's like role-playing games. Tales of the Valiant has a way around hoarding. If a PC has 5 luck and would gain a 6th, they have to roll a d4 and their total resets to that number. Whoa, I like it. That's a counterbalance. Somebody's given that thought. You know why? Because they were like, well, what if I just hoard all these? And then they're like, Cobalt Press was like, nope. Our sorcerers killed themselves to save the others in the OSR last night. So he's talking about blood magic. That's awesome. Blood magic rocks, says Harrigan. Morning, Kevin. Good morning. Good to see you. My fourth in our game group has arrived. We're all here. Feed is getting choppy again. Oh no. Refresh. Hard Bushido. We're talking about meta currencies in general, Hard Bushido. Like them, love them. What are ones that are done well? What, it depends. Defining it. How many times have you forgotten to use the meta currency you had? I forget all the time. And why? Why do you forget? Because you're like in the game. The game's having a good time. It's not like, oh crap, Maybe. I bet you if your tune I bet you if your tune is about to die and you forget that, I bet you somebody at the table will remember it. Excuse me, sorry. Hard Bushido, thank you. I like them if the system does it right. That's the theme. FFG and Suede is solid. D&D and Pathfinder 2E sucks. Tell me how you really feel. No. Hard Bushido, tell me what you think about meta currency. All right. Boom. Looking forward to MCDM draw steals mechanic with class points. I am unfamiliar. I need more. Jim, morning. Good to see you, buddy. Jeff says, a lot of this depends on your GMing style. If a I'm a story-focused guy. I'll imitate Jeff, who I've never, I don't think we've met before, right, Jeff? Jeff says, a lot of things depends on your GMing style. I'm a story-focused guy. So if you lean more towards the game system, your mileage may vary. That sound like you, Jeff? I'm trying. Hashtag nailed it. I use fate points with a limitation. On a D100 roll, the 1s and 10s die can be reversed. About a 16 to 26% advantage. Interesting. Done some maths on that one. I was wondering where Jim, Mr. Metacurrency, was in the conversation. Oh, Jim calling you out. Harrigan says, yes, Sean. Pulp stuff harkens back to my first comment. Meta is great there, but I don't love bennies generally. There are better meta currencies out there now. Okay, fair enough. Mr. Hubs, meta points are for the weak. I was waiting for somebody like Hobbs to come in. I mean, not Hobbs, just somebody like him. Just want to be clear. Love you, buddy. Yeah, some people are like, no meta currencies, brr, time out, brr, right? Old school games like meta currency, time out, man. No GURPS, no OD&D, no AD&D, no second edition. That is the way it is supposed to be run and played and enjoyed and experienced. That so it is written, so shall it be. Right. Healing potions are an in-game item. There you go. Jim sums it up. It's an in-game, right? It's no meta currency. That's why. Meta is out of game, thing, right? The difference is like, for Jim nailed it, but to be clear, it's like meta is like, the meta of meta currency is, timeout. I get to spend this point and just change something. It has nothing to do with the situation in the game. Although somebody could say, but Sean, what about dark and light side points? Well, you're still spending it outside of the game. Like, I'm choosing to flip this thing, and therefore I get to re-roll, and then I get to re-narrate the scene or give myself a boon and then narrate the outcome of that, right? Concerning bennies, I've always found it somewhat frustrating and challenging to explain in-game how your initial low roll suddenly becomes a success or when a wounds becomes a scratch. Yeah, but is that the execution of the Benny, right? Like, because it's been a while since I played Savage Worlds, but like, it's one of those things where you get to change it, right? Like, oh, I don't like that outcome. I got like 4 bennies over here, I spend one. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, the sword doesn't go through your arm. It's just a minor flesh wound. And it's like, wow, it was kind of cool 2 seconds ago. Never, ever let people know what button you have to push or is able to be pushed. Jim, I don't think I've ever spent a meta currency without being reminded that I have them by another player or GM. Thanks, Jeff. And there are meta currencies in Mothership? I haven't purchased or played it yet. No, I don't think so. Is there? I don't remember any of them coming up. Test Track, good to see. If you want to play with meta currencies, cool. If not, also cool. True, yes. And that's why this is a discussion. There's no wrong answer. It's not like if they suck, they suck to you. You don't want to play in a game with them. That's okay. But Test Trekkie, thanks for calling it out. Right? All good. Live and let live, he says. Live and let live. Next time I run my OD&D, I'm going to let players burn XP for rerolls. Whoa. You want to level up? All right. the 5-year first level campaign. No one would ever do anything for specifically to annoy Harrigan. Nope, never. Kevin's constantly trying to flick his ear. Test Track, regarding bennies. In fiction, you were never wounded. You're actually dodged. Yeah. But I think it's the rewinding of that, right? Pushing in COC is the same thing. What about Sundered Shields? No, that's not. But sundering a shield is not a meta currency. That's a game thing. How did you, like, what happened? Well, I'm going to use sundering, and I'm going to choose to sunder my shield. That's an in-game thing. Like, it happens in the game. My shield gets in the way, and it splinters and shatters apart. Because why? Well, I'm going to take 20 points of damage if I don't. And I'm going to offset 10 of that onto my shield or whatever, right? Stupid traffic made me late to the show. Whew. Are you in California? RPG Gen Exile, you got to take the 409 down to Sacramento and cross over to Rodeo Drive. What are you doing here, Stuart? In Shadowdark, you have to announce you will be using the luck point before you roll, which is better, right? Like, narratively speaking, because then the result is what it is. Take it or leave it. When you do it, that's what you get. It's not rewinding the clock or reversing the tape. Hobbs, no, a shield is an in-game thing, so I do not think it's a meta at all. Agreed. So all you have to do is make your meta currency in-game items. Well, then it's not a meta currency, you knob. For the rest of you, I know Mr. Hobbs, so I can call him a knob. Knob and Hobbs. Just kidding, buddy. Any meta currency mechanic that lets you go back in time, change an outcome after the fact, no bueno. No bueno. You know what I love? I just love coming up with discussion where I just like coming up with a discussion topic that takes people from, they'll tune in and kind of listen, or I won't tune in, to, oh no, I got something to say about this. And the chat explodes. Hobbs continues, because the bottom line is the same thing. The difference is splitting hairs. Oh, I don't know about that, bud. I don't know. I think this discussion is like not that. Rodeo Drive, famous road in Sacramento. Dude, I don't know California. Noxious Bones, welcome. What is the conversation rate of meta currency to in-game currency? Oh, well, that depends. It depends on how many, how many people are mining meta currency. You got a data center printing out meta currency. Well, then in-game currency may drop, or will it go up? It could go up, right? Agreed. Giving up an important resource is not the same as burning a floating point of do anything. I think there's some common themes to today's discussion. Have you seen Fabio Ultima's item points? I have not. That statement is like, what? Item points? What? So is it like you have points of an item and you can spend them, and then the item goes like south? Using the apocalypse world lingo. Oh, man, we're follow up. It's a meta currency to get in-game items. Oh, interesting. Says Hard Bushido about Fabula Ultima's item points. Hey, if that is your game to play, great. Probably I would not be. I don't know. That's a different design. Maybe I'd love it. I don't know. Meta currencies are a player resource and can cause things that a character wouldn't be able to do otherwise. There's so many weird boundaries, right? Like if you have to take a meta currency as a game master or as a group and say, all right, this game has meta currencies, but we don't like how it's like implemented or it allows this to happen. And I think if you have to kind of bring the group together and say we have to change that or limit it, then I think then it might be we have to question the design or implementation of that meta currency, right? As we get older, we run low on hairs to split, except Sean. He has magnificent mane. Many games even describe meta currency as a legal way to break the rules. Yikes, right? Right. I mean, if that's the game's design and it's like fully embraced, great. To me, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Like, ugh. Well, I'm just going to put this together because they're just going to spend meta currency and just like blow this anyway. Molehills. To me, the distinction is minimal. In fiction, Test Trekkie says, I swing sword at orc. Mechanics. I roll attack, roll to hit. I dislike result. I spend meta to reroll. I like result. In fiction, I kill orc. Take the pie. Right. Yeah. You're still rewinding the tape and redoing it. It's in the game, dude. Can we first establish, Mr. Hubbs, Scott Hubbs, that it's in the game? That's the biggest difference. Like it's not a currency. You're not exchanging, right? Like it's you're choosing your shield. It's a tactical call in the game. Hobbs, Harrigan says, it's okay to be wrong, Hobbs. It's okay, my friend. All right, see you, Harrigan. Have fun, man. All right, going to go to the Benny's shop and load up my backpack with inspiration. Oh, noxious bones. Having item points makes me think about Fallout's repair/weapon deterioration system. New loot? No. The loot you already have is better if you spend the things. Which is a weird one, right? Like, I don't know Fallout, but just your explanation there, Noxious, is like, what? How does it go? Like, that's a good point. Like, if you have points that you can better the gear that you have, just, it's not through like, well, my sword's kind of chipped. I'm going to take it to a blacksmith, and then the blacksmith's going to redo it, and I will pay the blacksmith 10 gold to forge or fix or repair my weapon. In game, no meta currency, part of the plot and the story and what has player agency. The GM is not going to go, the only thing the GM could do is like, oh, there's no blacksmith for like thousands of miles. Good luck, buddy. Right? It's not probably going to be that. So it's weird to go, well, this game, you can spend little chits and you get to like improve everything. And then somebody would say, but Sean, you got experience points. That's what that does. No. GM makes meta currency go brrr. Well, did I get that, Daryl? Good to see you. I think of it as AD20 system. If I roll a 20, is that the best result? Or can a meta currency result beat that? I mean, if you roll a D20 and you get a natural 20 and you roll a Benny to like, because there's some I think you can use to trigger it, right? Like in some games, like if it's like, what games is it? Like I roll and it's not a crit unless I spend the point to make it a crit. I know there's a game like that. What about some games that have something like a luck roll to see if you have an item not listed on your sheet, but there is chance your PC may have it due to some circumstance? That's a good example. Very interesting. Dudes, Night's Black Agents, I totally did not understand some of the, like I thought, make a character, you have all your points, you allocate it to your skills, and then you're done. And when I got into one NBA game, I didn't get too far into it, but we got through character generation. I bowed out. The game went on. But that's not like they say there's players in that game like, no, you don't spend your points ahead of time. You allocate them as the story moves forward because you don't want to be the player character that like language, a foreign language might be that, right? You have 4 points. You have skill points. And say you save some of those and you want to choose a foreign language because it's inherent to the archetype that you're running and playing. But you don't know where in the campaign you're going to be based. Now, the GM could say, hey, you're going to be in this area of Europe. You're going to be in Romania. So then it would behoove the player character to say, well, I'm an agent that has been based in an outpost, field office in Romania. I speak Romanian. But there is the philosophy where you don't fill that in until you actually need it. So who speaks this? And you're like, fill in 2 points. I do. And some will be like, that's the way you play that game. I was like, what? Oh, I would have never done that. I would fill it out completely and done. And all my points are finished. And then what happens is you're in Romania and then nobody speaks Romanian. And then everything's like, then what? Anyways, little side tangent. See you, Stefan. Good to see you, man. Take care. Boss save thing, neckbeards. This guy. It is decided meta currencies. They can be used sometimes, maybe. Right. Hopping off. Good to see you, Tad. Everybody's done. 1 hour in. Well, and I got to get to, we're wrapping this one up. We're going to wrap this up. And then I'll speed through the print and crowdfunding stuff. Barbarians of Lemurium needs a hero point to make a success, a crit, or success. Oh, interesting. Good to know. I did not know it was BOL. I thought there's another one, but thanks, Gabe. Speaking in favor of metacurrencies, they can allow you to simulate a genre better than X number of rules. Rules, specifically lots of them, become a problem of their own. Test Trekkie says, D2D20 has generic in-game components that characters with the right skills can use to improve weapons, which is fine. Like, hey, I've got a repair kit and I have the skill to fix a weapon in the field. Okay. You have a generic set of high-tech components to improve your laser rifle. I could see modifying, right? Those are all the tech gurus. Like, those are all tech classes in science fiction, right? Like, I'm an engineer, so I get to futz with the engine and make it better. Like, okay. Revised plan. Next time I run OD&D, I'll let players burn XP to know a language. Noxious. Meta betting on initiative. I'm all in on going first. Having a poker-like bluffing mechanic could make meta monies way more interesting. Bushido. It's all about having fun. If the group enjoys tactical planning and execution, then meta doesn't work. If you like over-the-top antics, it's great. But have a way that bad things still happen. Yeah. I have strong opinions about the topic. Laramie says this is one with me being very sure, whichever you like. Whichever way you like it. Right. All right. See you, Jake. Everybody's dropping off. Hey, on the way out, hit the like button. Do me a favor. Hit it like a wall switch. All right. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for everybody participating in today's discussion. It was good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's get into RPG news, shall we? If I can find it. Where? All right. RPG news. This was interesting. I figured I'd bring it up. Community's banned episode, Advanced D&D, has been reinstated and is available to stream again. I did not know this until recently that this was banned. Because they claimed it was blackface. I mean, it is, right? Kind of, but not blackface is like the bad blackface. This is like a drow character, which we know is different and doesn't exist. So I thought this was interesting. I wanted to bring it up. That's reinstated. Because one, I didn't know it was banned. And two, now that it's back, right? So there you go. That's the only one I have for like news. Let's see. Let's go to bundles. Should we do bundles? Bundles. I need to get a voiceover for that. Mutant Crawl Classics. Who's got it? Who doesn't have it? Who wants it? PDF. It's got, what do you get? Like one starter collection. So the game, the screen, Hive of the Overmind. Bonus is MCC data, Orb of Metakind, 6 Mutant Crawl Adventures. So you're like, what? Yeah, a few things here. And it's going to cost you like $19. So if you're interested, if you are a Gamma World person, this may fit that niche if you like that. And I did not put in the link. So I'll put a link in the chat for these. There you go. I hope some of you that showed up today happen to come back next week where we talk about who knows what. Anyways, going to print news. Let's go to print news. Print news. All right, print news. Thanks to EN World. Go over to EN World and click on all their ads. First one, Crown and Skull Volume 2. Didn't realize this was coming. I sold mine. It's a great book to Kevin Salthart, who is not here. He's at a con on the East Coast. But yeah, you do. Hey, the system for this is Crown and Skull Volume 1. Ha! There you go. Anybody playing Crown and Skull? Runehammer? I thought it was interesting, just not my jam. And I probably wouldn't get it to the table, so I sold my version. It's an expansion. Includes 13 dungeon-centric adventures, dungeon craft, fear, dragon riding, and other new skills, 40 pages of tables, 20 pages of GM tips and new techniques, 20 new skills, 8 new core abilities. Yeah, all good stuff. Vow of Absolution, Cubicle 7, Warhammer 40k, Wrath and Glory RPG. The 7th Doom, Quest of Delisle Kroom and Isle of Hex for DCC. For DCC fans, check those out. Never Going Home. I think we covered it when it was a crowdfunding campaign and then when it was in print. Digest-sized softcover supplements, $20 each. There you go. Next one, Cthulhu Bay, Forsaken Adventures by Ares Games. Cthulhu Hack and Brindlewood Bay and Merc Borg are the systems for each one of these. You can check. Beguiling Whispers, Liber Genesis Sui by Central Michigan University Press. Central Michigan University Press, I believe, is the same one that did the LARP for the Cold War Cuban Missile Crisis LARP that I had kind of put out on social media, and we brought it up here, and I actually kicked in, and it was funded. So Central Michigan's putting out some stuff. This is the system from 500-year-old Vampire. Next one, Pirate Rowboat Miniatures, the Miniature Building Authority, Floating Shipwreck Debris, water-based system, water-based RPGs. Too funny. Description, pirate boat and floating shipwreck debris. Produced under commercial license from SRS Studios. There you go. That's all I got. Boom, bam. All right. Next. Crowdfunding. Wrapping it up here, folks, on the last leg of our journey. Forbidden North. I kicked in. Looked too good. Plus, it's the 3rd volume. So, like, now I can get, like, the first 2 in PDF. And then when the 3rd one comes out, and then I don't, it's not like, hey, I'm going to kick in for the first book of a 3-book volume or 3-episode volume. 3-episode, 3-edition, whatever, 3-book series. I don't know if I'll ever run it. It's like, wow, it's a big campaign, old school essentials. It'd be cool just to be like, okay, we're going to play OSE, and this is it. Here we go, and go. It's like Arden Vool, right? I just was like, ooh, this really looks good. I really kind of want to, yeah. It's funded, by the way. So these crowdfunding campaigns that EN World features is usually in the last week of the campaigns. So if you watch this after the stream, they may be done, but they may have late pledge. Check them out for late pledges. The Lady Pirates Tarot and Sales of Fate 5e supplement by Baroque Publishing for 5th edition, funded. A Perfect Rock, a planet-building adventure role-playing game. This might be kind of cool if you're like wanting to play science fiction games. It's kind of like the, Microscope by Ben Robbins that, sit around and create the world with the players and then kick it off with Mothership or Alien or Traveler or whatever, right? Homeworld is gone. Time to find a new one. The GM-less world-building TTRPG lets you design both your original planet and your new world. Using rocks as inspiration, you'll travel to a new world while remembering your old one. If you like building settings collaboratively, the campaign includes a link to one-page view of the rules. It's funded. I may actually have to check that out before it's done. Or just get it when it's, like, out. Craft and Conquer from Jerry Joe Seltzer, 5th edition, $19,000. That's funded. Want to add more crafting to your 5e games? There you go. Want to craft? You want spells and feats to help you craft better? There you go. Next one, Crafting Heritage, Cultures, and More World Building from PJ Coffee, Homebrew, and Hacking, TTRPG Design. This is for 5th edition and Advanced 5th edition. Advanced 5th edition would be EN World's take on 5th. And then RPG Zine Month. There's tons of them. Probably way too many to list, but they sum up a few here that you want to check out. I won't go through each one of those, but I will put a link in the chat as well. And that, my ladies and gentlemen and germs, is all. Thank you for coming by today on this Saturday. I want to thank all of these folks, their patrons or supporters of the show, either here on YouTube or via Patreon. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, chipping in a couple dollars each month. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for being here today to be in the chat and lend, to the discussion, if you will. I couldn't do this. It'd be so damn boring and ridiculous if I were just without the chat. It really would. So thank you so much for being here. Much appreciated. I stream here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified. I don't miss too many weekends, and I'll be here next one. So do yourself a favor. Spend time with people that you appreciate. Stay away from the ones you don't. Take some time to yourself if you need to, especially in today's world. By all means, we need gaming more than ever, ladies and gentlemen. Can I get an amen? What? That's about as religious as I get here. Otherwise, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby, and I hope to see you on the next one. See ya, have a good weekend, and keep on gaming. Ciao.